DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to the show today. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and thanks for joining us on DocTalk. My guest today is going to be Dr. Kip Lukasavage, and we're going to talk about some things that are related to pairing up your cows before you move them and how we move cows that have calves on their side. It's a great show. Kip's a great friend. Can't wait for you to see it.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Closed captioning brought to you by VetGun with Amel and new AMA Abamectin Vet Caps, the 1-2 punch against hornfly resistance from AgriLabs.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Kip Lukasavage. And Dr. Kip is in Grand Island, Nebraska.
Yes, sir.
From St. Paul to Ainsworth, back down to Grand Island, and maybe one of the most energetic, I want to say the right word, caring is the word, but there's got to be a word that's even stronger than caring, because I haven't met anybody that has a bigger heart, that'll pick you up when you're down, that cares about his clients, cares about the cattle, cares about the people that are out there every day than Dr. Kip. And he has taught me more about myself and about how to be a practitioner, and I just love our phone calls, and when I get a chance to have him here on the show, it's a very special day for me. So thanks for being here.
Man, I thank you, Dr. Dan. This is awesome for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So, Dr. Kip, if you have things on the ranch, in your packing plant, in the feedlot, dairy, cattle handling, cattle facilities, this guy can draw them, he can design them, he can see things that cattle see, but more importantly, he sees what people have to do to get their job done and do it safely and do it the right way for the cattle.
Right.
But you've been doing a lot of work at the Meat Animal Research Center too.
Yes.
And it's been very special in learning what you're doing out there on the ranch. So
Yes.
talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you're doing. We're going to take breaks in between, but we've got some time here just to have a discussion of what the heck's going on.
Dr. Dan, I've looked at over the years of being, especially up in Ainsworth, Nebraska, is just watching guys when they're getting cows in to do things like pre-pasture turnout vaccinations or just moving from pasture to pasture, those types of things, gathering pairs of what some of our struggles are, and a lot of it comes down to just normal observation of behavior, but it is actually the true interaction of the cow-calf pair and paying attention to who's most sensitive, and how to gather pairs so that you don't have these wrecks at the end once you get to the gate as far as where you're wanting them to go, whether that's a gathering pen, new pasture, or whatever that may be. Because the one thing that we've talked about this many times before is that the strongest innate defense mechanism of a cow is returning where they came from, especially when they reach a dead end point or they get to a position where it's uncomfortable. to their natural instinct, and it's so instinctive in the baby calf. Like when you get to certain points and they lose mom, they naturally go back where they came from. Like you can't, it's hard to stop them from doing that.
Well, and we see that with horses. We see that with cattle. When they're going back the direction they came, they feel like, I mean, if
it's a sense of release. Like they can't get there fast enough.
I got there. I got lost. I don't know where I'm going. I don't like where I'm going.
Right. I'm going to start over.
I'm just going back.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
It's kind of like me in school.
Yeah. Some of us go backwards sometimes, and it's better.
We hit the dead end, and time to go back and maybe
restart.
Yeah, let's just restart.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things that Dr. Kip's doing with pairing up those cows and calves before you move them, and building trust in the animals. Thanks for joining us here on DocTalk.
Hi, I'm Pat Farley, President and CEO of Enzo Discoveries. I'm very excited for the year of 2019 to be here. Enzo Discoveries is going to have a breakout year in 2019. We're now a veteran-owned company. A lot of our amazing products, platelet-rich plasma, platelet-rich fibrin, we've developed these from scratch, all by veterinarians, for veterinarians. We've got adipose stem cells, bone marrow stem cells. We've got 3 or 4 other kits we're going to be releasing this year. And today's a good example. We really value our customers. We're doing a value-added service here today. We've actually flown in one of the top ultrasonographers in the country, Dr. Cooper Williams, and he's here teaching some of our best customers from around the country how to not only ultrasound, but how to effectively inject our platelet-rich plasma and use our other kits. So finally, if you'd like to learn more about us, simply go to our website, Enzo Discoveries, that's E-N-S-O Discoveries, and you'll learn more about this amazing company on the verge of going to the next level. Thank you so much.
When it comes to stopping hornflies, cattlemen love their Vet Gun. Today they love it even more because Vet Gun now has a 1-2 punch with 2 VetCap insecticides. New AIM-A abamectin can be used in rotation with AIM-L for effective in-season control. Each delivers a unique mode of action to manage hornfly resistance. So start your in-season rotation program with AIM-L and new AIM-A abamectin VetCaps from AgriLabs.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm here with Dr. Kip Lukasavage. He's a veterinarian. He's part of PAC. If you go to pacdvms.com, you can find us on the web. If your veterinarian's not a member of PAC, we are bringing in new members to PAC Veterinary Group, and so maybe you pass it along to them to give us an email and have them join up with us. But Dr. Kip, you're moving cattle in pairs now rather than just going into the pasture and just...
Yeah, so when we started this out, especially at the Meat Animal Research Center at Clay Center, they allowed me to come in and start working with their teams. And we started actually from the day the calf was born and just how we interacted with the cow and the calf. And so when we would go out there, we would make sure that the cow knew we were there. We weren't doing any sneak attacks, trying to pick up these calves and get them tagged or weighed and those things. And so we made sure that we had that trust of that cow. And then when we would go pair out, we've taught them to start paying closer attention to the calf. You know, the calf is so imprintable as far as the knowledge and the things that he's absorbing coming into his mind. The cow is kind of, you know, she's been through it many of times. But the calf that's his first time. That's his first interaction with human. And so learning how to move the calf, put pressure on him, but release once he does, and then still move the cow and get everything going in the direction that it's supposed to be going. And then maintaining that as we go. And how that's helped us then is that when we actually go to pair and move the entire group or the herd, is now when we go out there, we kind of go through and we get everything up. And I usually ask people just to fall back and just sit. Once everything's up, let them suckle. Let them get some nourishment for the trip. They're going to need it. In some cases, it's a quick trip. But in other cases, we might be going 2 miles, trailing them 2 miles. So they need a little bit of nourishment so that things are ready to roll.
Yep.
And the cow's comfortable.
So the importance of the pairing process, besides the nutrition, is letting the cow help train the calf.
Yes.
And to help the mother. Sometimes you're training that cow to be a little better mom too, right?
Absolutely, because when you're out there interacting, you are a predator that's coming out there. She should be aware of your presence, and if she's any type of a mom at all, she should be looking for a calf, trying to identify him, and get him close to her side. And I think that's what we've, in my mind, and everybody can kind of perceive that different at times, but that's how I look at it. I always look at it as if I was asking my wife with a newborn baby that we were going to go on a trip. I just know that getting the child up in the morning, getting his diaper changed, a little bit of grooming, and a little bit of nourishment is going to go a long way in making her feel comfortable as well as the child.
You don't want to do the deal where you rattle the feeder lid and the cow takes off running and you got a whole bunch of baby calves.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't want I wouldn't want my wife we're going on a trip, to set the baby down and take off with her suitcase to go get on the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to take the baby.
Make more work for us. So, yeah, exactly,
right.
Exactly right.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Dr. Kip. You're watching Doc Talk. We're glad to have Dr. Kip Lukasavage here. More after this break. Hey folks, welcome to our Cattle First Minute, sponsored by Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica. And today we're going to talk about clostridial vaccines. And one of the things about clostridial vaccines is many times it's called, in layman's term, blackleg or something of that nature. But when you hear someone say, I'm going to give a 7-way blackleg, that is the vaccination for clostridials. Now, all of us that are watching this show are also vaccinated for a clostridial that's very common in our environment, called Clostridial tetani. And that is tetanus. So tetanus is a clostridial vaccine that humans and cattle alike receive. Make sure that we vaccinate our calves that are going to be housed on pastures that are high with the blackleg disease with a 7-way clostridial bactrin. We also want to make sure that we utilize that bactrin when they're going into a grow yard and again at the weaning process. When we want to use clostridial tetani or tetanus vaccines is if you're going to use the technique of banding to castrate bull calves. Always use the tetanus toxoid. Clostridial vaccines have been around forever. They're one of the most effective vaccines that we have in the world, and they work really well.
It must be an inherited trait because I have never wanted to do anything other than be in the cattle business. And it's interesting as I have grandchildren now, little bitty ones. All they want to do is go to the barn, swing a rope, and be a cowboy. It's something. It's a lifestyle that we have, the way we make a living, obviously. But it's really more than that. It gives us the opportunity as a family to be able to work together and enjoy each other's company and make a living at the same time. We've been using Triangle for years, and the reason we do it's been safe and effective, and we're going to continue to do that. We'll put the cows in the chute twice a year, spring and fall. 100% of our cattle get vaccinated with Triangle.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan here with Dr. Kip Lukasavage, who's a friend and colleague from Grand Island, Nebraska. One of the true pioneers that we have today and journeyman that is working on cattle handling from the ranch to the packing plant, facility designs and much more. Get a hold of Dr. Kip if you need some assistance. Moving those cattle, so how are we going to start to get them?
So once we get kind of things paired up in the pasture and we have allowed some time for suckle time, one thing that we notice is that as we're standing there kind of, today I always tell kids, if you have your phone, it's the time to just get your phone out and read your text or your Snapchats that morning while you're waiting. But as you start to see cows and calves starting to move a direction, we don't typically care what direction they're moving, even though we have a destination point for them to go. We just got to get motion started. And so once we start noticing that, it is guiding the front and guiding the side. We'll have somewhat of a driver in the back and just, doing some shallow Z's as they go. And as we do that, those cows start making their way. One of the things that I notice when we're doing that is the cow and the calf typically are staying together for most of it. However, if it's a long travel, they'll start to separate a little bit because the cow is naturally a little bit faster in her walk, a little bit longer stride length than that calf. And so they will separate a little bit, but what we have to teach our stockmen and people to do is to actually just fall back. And like sometimes the hardest thing is to tell people just to relax and get, just slow down a notch. Let things start to come back together because they naturally will. Cows will sometimes get way out ahead and then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh my gosh, I lost my calf. I need to fall back. So they'll come back. The worst part is if you do have somebody leading up there with some cake cubes or stuff like that, then that's a little bit tougher for sure. And so I don't always encourage that by no means. That's old habits that are hard to break as well. But if we do this other way, I just usually guarantee that it's going to come out right. But we have to pay attention as they're moving.
And not all those calves are the same age.
No.
You got some weaker
some are
ones.
Week old,
and you got the big ones
weeks,
that are traveling just fine, and the little ones, and really being conscious of the fact that we have calves of many different ages, and it's not okay just to let the little ones lag behind, and we'll talk more about that. Where do you position people?
So I usually have, what's really fun is if you have somebody leading, and leading kind of towards the front. Sometimes that lead might be at the front. Sometimes it might be just slightly off to the side towards the front. We might have one person, if we have multiple people, we might have one person guiding and one person driving. Most times when I work with ranches, it's usually 2, at most 3 of us doing this. So, that's what we have. And that's how I position people as we go forth.
Awesome. When we come back, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what it should look like at the end when you're putting the cattle in their new pasture. This is DocTalk. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have Dr. Kip Lukasavage here. We'll see you here after this break.
We work in our business every day. Let's work on our business. This is practical information brought to you by those doing it every day. No theories, no opinions, just real people with real information that do it every day. You want your people to follow you, care for them, love them, be there for them, tell them you've got their back. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about our people.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here with my friend and colleague Dr. Kip Lukasavage. And Dr. Kip, we talked about moving cows, and now we've got them out. We're moving them. Now, how do you want to see this unfold?
So again, I think anytime we go into, I call it a mission or whatever you're doing, I think you have to have a goal in mind. And my goal is always to have, when we're going through the gate, whether it's in the gathering pen or a new pasture or whatever it may be, is that it's not 20, 30 calves lagging behind by themselves. It's going to be a cow-calf pair going through that gate at the very end. And so as we guide and as we move, we're paying attention to are they staying together? Are they separating? If they're separating, we slow down the process just a bit, let things recoup and get back together. But then as we're going through, is you'll find if they're going through the gateways, we have to stop pushing at that point in time. If they're naturally going through it, just stop, hold up, or just slow way down.
They'll pull themselves through it.
They pull themselves through it. And so the best way to control, the best way to control things from going wrong is to not get in close. It's to keep distance, because distance is control at the end of the day. If a cow turns around and faces and you're up too close, or a calf turns around and faces and you're up too close, he's athletic enough, he can get around you pretty quickly overall. And again, natural intention is to go back where they came from, and that's a hard instinct to fight. And so when they've lost their mom. And so just don't let that happen. Just create distance. If you see them starting to turn back and look for direction, give them direction right away. So it's an observation deal the whole way through. But once we get through that gateway or into that gathering pen, if we're going in a new pasture, we let them fan out. If that person that's leading them, we kind of let them lead them out, and just kind of watch cows start eating grass and doing some natural things, and then just fall back and settle. And just settle the cattle, and everything will be good. If you're going into a gathering pen because you're going to maybe do some sorting or those types of things, at least your cattle are prepared. They've built trust along the way. They know what's at stake or what's going to be happening, and so it just makes sorting that much easier as well. And sorting is a whole nother thing that I've worked with many of ranches. I just got back from one from this last weekend that was phenomenal. He got to involve his 4-year-old son and 9-year-old son and 15-year-old daughter in on the sorting process, coaching them, along. It was phenomenal. I got a great video of that to show, and I'll send that to you. Awesome. It's going to be really awesome. But you'll enjoy it.
Folks, Dr. Kip is one of those people. look for where he's speaking, look for where he's being engaged in the industry. Go listen to his talks. They're very powerful, and it will improve the animal health of your cow herd, and it'll improve the safety for you and your family. Thanks for all you do.
Oh man, thank you.
Thanks for being here today. Thanks for watching DocTalk. Remember, if you want to know what we do, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Kip Lukasavage, and we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by VetGun with Amel and new AMA Abamectin Vet Caps, the 1-2 punch against hornfly resistance from AgriLabs.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com.
DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.